Hey, welcome back everybody to the channel. We actually finally made it out to WINDROCK Bike Park out in Oliver Springs. This is my first time at a mountain bike park. This is my first time at WINDROCK, and we are doing it all on a trail bike. Yes, the Santa Cruz 5010. We started off on Talladega. We actually did the Talladega to the Dropout, which we're about to ride here. All right, we're going through Dropout. Got Pedaling Dave behind me. Dropout was actually one of my favorite trails that we rode. It was steep enough to get some speed, had enough challenging rocky terrain and tech stuff to it. It was all just stuff I really enjoyed. I hear him talking back there, but I don't know what he's saying. Actually doing this run with Pedaling Dave, as I mentioned. He got to meet us out here. He's done a few videos out here before. But the Dropout and Talladega, we actually did this quite a few times. Like I mentioned, it's one of my favorites. It did seem pretty rough out here, actually. I don't know if that's because I'm on a trail bike or if it's just because of the races that they've had recently. But there was just a lot of braking bumps. It was very dry. Lots of just loose terrain. Quads are burning. Feeling good?
Yeah.
Cool.
They changed this a bit too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this little drop here on the side. Yeah, cleaned it this time around. Oh, lost the pedal. Still good. So WINDROCK is actually about 7,300 acres of just all off-road excitement. Woo! It's located there in Oliver Springs, just outside Knoxville. The trails accommodate all types of vehicles, from ATVs, dirt bikes, mountain bikes, Jeeps, 4x4s, whatever. There were tons of off-road vehicles out here, and it was really cool to just kind of see all the vehicles and the dirt bikes and everything. But we also had quite a few mountain bikers out there as well, just enjoying this property. There's plenty of amenities. I think there's 300 miles of trail riding and hiking there. They have camping there that you can use, take advantage of for a weekend. They do have like an XC trails as well as the downhill. But what's super cool about having like a downhill bike park that's shuttled, that's lifted to the top, is all the experience you actually get riding a bike park that's shuttled. So I probably did maybe about 12 to 15 miles. I don't know for sure, just kind of estimating with all the runs we did. But we did a total of probably 8,000 to 9,000 feet of descending during the day that we were there. That is insane, and it's thinking about that as the amount of practice you get while you're riding these bike parks. You can get, as much experience in one day of riding at a bike park as you can probably weeks or maybe even months, depending on your frequency of riding normal trails. So I definitely came out of this a much better rider. I hope to get a downhill bike soon so I can enjoy this even more to the fullest. I was super nervous riding these trails. I was definitely grabbing onto the brakes a lot harder, and pretty much the entire time I was going down, just kind of getting the nervousness out. My mind was so focused, and the attention I had to give to the trails and to what I was doing. I felt mentally fatigued by the end of this trip, but it was so much fun. I was so glad we were able to take the time to get out here. We had beautiful weather, but there were definitely times throughout the day where I just had to stop, let my hands rest, let my legs rest, let my mind rest. And one of the mistakes I did was that I did not eat enough food or taken enough calories while I was riding. So towards the afternoon, I just felt so fatigued that it was hard for me to focus on the trail, which found me gripping my brakes even harder and going even slower on some of these trails where I know I could have stepped up. And one thing, actually, looking back on my video, and honestly, even I do this often, I always go back and watch my videos quite often and quite regularly, because I use that as like a scouting for myself too. It's easier to see the trail kind of now looking back from the video and seeing, oh, there's a nice little cutoff there, or oh, I probably should have taken this line instead of that line. And I do that on the regular trails that I ride in Chattanooga and other places I frequent. And so here we're actually doing the reach around trail. This was our first more difficult trail. It was the red trail on the trail map. This was actually super loose and very rocky throughout the whole trail, but it was good. It was a good experience. It was a good kind of intro to some of the tougher trails. But this is a trail that I actually was thinking about when I look back on, where I could have opened up a little bit more, could have let off the brake a little bit more in these areas, and probably should have taken that line, should have taken this line. And I hope this video is able to be a good scouting report for you too, if you ever make it to Windrock, or the next time you go to Windrock, because I know it's easier for myself to look back on these trails and see how I could have improved, see how I could have gone faster, see how I could have done better to improve my skills and move forward. He's actually got the giant downhill bike. Actually, funny story, while we were there at Windrock, another kid recognized that bike as the bike that was seen on Seth's Bike Hacks with Kevin from Steady Spin. And turns out that is Kevin's bike from Steady Spin channel. He picked up a $500 bike, he made some upgrades, they did some stuff with Seth on Seth's Bike Hacks channel. Travis ended up buying it from someone else in the Chattanooga area. Turns out maybe second or third owner in between Kevin. And it's just kind of crazy. We went back and watched the video and noticed the little similarities and the little weird cable routings and things like that, and nicks and stuff on the frame, and that's how we were able to figure it out. But it was one of the kids on the lift that actually noticed it and pointed it out to us. It was just kind of cool. I know Travis is pretty stoked to have his bike, and they communicate online often, so I know he's excited to have that downhill bike. This was his first time to really test out a downhill bike at an actual downhill park, and it was really cool to see him progress these trails too. And so I only look forward to pick up a downhill bike myself, hopefully soon in the future, working something out there, hopefully. But this reach around was definitely a good test to what we were doing out here.
I go left.
Okay.
Until the right's pretty tough.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Throttle pump?
Just like my fingers.
You know what? I'm actually gonna go right because I went left last time. I don't know what's down that way, but I heard it was tough.
But I want to start from there because there's kind of that kick right there.
Yeah, I see that. Man, I about went out that one berm.
I know, I saw you going over.
That's why when you came rolling through, I was like, oh, I hope he saw it at least. Let me get out of the way. Alright. Yeah, that's a...
You're good.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna go just to the right of that if I can. Alright, whatever trail this is. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Okay, now that I can actually fully see it.
Yeah, you got it.
Alright, let's see.
All right, hopefully I'll see him at the bottom. The more we were riding some of these other trails around Windrock, we knew what trails we were starting off on, but as we were going, there was a lot of different cutoffs, and it was hard to really know what trail we were actually on when we were going through. And so reach around, this is part of it. I assumed I stayed on reach around. We don't really know what trail Travis took, or if I actually stayed on reach around or not.
Hanging on.
The next trail we ended up taking after this would have been Cave Boy, which led into some other trails, and we kind of had the same situation. I'm pretty sure we stayed on Cave Boy, then went to Snake Rock, but it could have been Caveman as well. Either way, reach around was a good intro to some of the more difficult trails. I don't feel like it was anything too difficult, especially if you got some enough life on your brake pads. But everything kicks out to Talladega.
Wow.
And towards the lower terrain area where the red drop is. So all the trails kind of kick out to that spot.
Holy crap, leg. My legs and fingers. Man, I don't know if I'm still on reach around or not. Trails merge. Probably hear my brakes on smoking up. They're not actually smoking. I just hear them grinding.
So whenever you finish the trail, it pushes you back into this area. Here is just kind of your loading zone where the lift is. A lot of people are kind of hanging on the right. There's actually a little mini bike shop there for emergencies, like if you get, you know, tire puncture, need new tubes or need new tire, basic service, they're able to help you. This is kind of how the lift works. You just kind of pop up your bike and latch in the tire and the little slot and hop on the back of the truck and ride up. It's pretty simple and really efficient.
Mine actually came out right there.
And of course, anytime there's jumps with us, near us, Travis has to pull out some big airs, and he was loving the terrain park up here on the new downhill bike too. He spent almost every time we went to the top, he always did at least one run through the jumps. But this is where we started Cave Boy, and again, at this point, I was actually starting to get pretty fatigued. This was after lunch, and I just didn't get enough calories, I think, but would have liked to hit this trail a couple more times just to get more comfortable, but definitely could tell that I was getting more fatigued in my response, and reaction times were slowing down on me. And this is a trail that I think where I could have opened up a little bit more and taken some better lines and just gone a little bit faster. Compare this to reach around in terms of how steep it was, but without the loose rock. But there were some more drops throughout it, which I would have actually liked to take, but like I mentioned, just getting to the point later in the day, you're just trying to stay safe at this point. You don't want to go do anything where you might get hurt.
Man, this is nuts.
And K-Boy actually loops into Snake Rock and or Caveman. There's actually also partway down, there's a Talladega cutoff connector trail. But this trail, like, I really love this trail actually. Aside from Dropout, I think I probably would have gone back and hit this a few more times.
Still alive. Whoa. Drifting off. Alright, I gotta rest my quads a bit. Alright, kind of in an awkward spot to start, huh? Oh. Whoa, tree. Yeah. This Trail Forks has a lot more trails than what was on the trail map.
No, because there's some new ones from different like
yeah,
races and stuff.
It looks like there's some red trails, black trails, blue trails. Like, it's hard to really tell where we're at exactly.
Well, let's just go left, and if we want to do it again, we'll go right next time.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
At this point, I was actually, after the little crash I had, I was actually noticing, I felt like the wiring, the internal routing of my cables were clicking on something. I felt some clicking over a lot of the rough terrain, and I just couldn't, it was bothering me. I kept trying to stop and figuring it out. I think the culprit ended up just being some of the cable routing, just clicking on the frame or just clicking on each other where my bottle cage is. All the important parts seem to be tight and secure, so I try not to worry about it too much. But especially when you're out here riding rough stuff like this, if you have any wrecks or lay the bike down or anything, even if it doesn't seem that big of a deal, do a quick bike check, make sure all the important stuff is still attached. It would create for a bad day if you start going down and realize that something was bent, you had loose brake handles, or maybe just something was off. You never want to just be smart when you're riding, especially with some of these harder places like this, and testing your levels and testing your skills. Just make sure you do some bike checks. You know, the night before, you know, I was going through, you know, replaced all my brake pads, got some new brakes. I made sure to those kind of set in and be prepared for the park day, and you know, just everything overall. Made sure the chain was still good, make sure that wasn't stretched, you know, going over everything, make sure my fork and shock pressures were good and ready for the type of riding I was going to be doing, making sure the tread on the tires were fine, and just making sure I had some replacement parts with me in case things did go wrong. I was just mostly impressed I was able to do all this riding without getting hurt, one, but two, I was able to do it on a trail bike. My 5010 has 150 mil travel in the front and 130 travel in the back. I definitely could have used a bit more travel, but just knowing that I was able to do this on this bike, I hope it opens up you guys too. If you guys have the skill level, you guys can ride this. And Travis, before you guys downhill bike, rode this on a Diamondback Atros, which had, I think, 120 travel up front and 100 in the back. It was definitely rough, but he was able to ride it.
I think I got onto the trail where the Red Bull drop is.
And this is the end of our video here coming up as we're wrapping up to the Red Bull drop. I did not hit it, so don't get too excited. I just want to appreciate you guys watching this video, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it helps you guys as you get out to WINDROCK yourself.
This is the roll into the big Red Bull drop.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you guys like the video, share it, like it, comment, and I just appreciate you guys watching, and I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of another guy hitting the Red Bull drop behind me. You guys are awesome. I hope to make it back out here, hope to get a downhill bike, and we'll see you guys next time on the trail. And in the meantime, make sure to check out some of these videos here.